All right, welcome to Life Full Circle Radio. Miguel Lloyd, the host of Life Full Circle Radio, here with the super producer. Your research project is you got to just Dana Dane. Use Wikipedia so you know my impersonation that I'm doing, which is the New York cat with the English accent. Anyway, so what we do with Life with Circle Radio, see, this is the generational thing. You got the Gen X, golden age of hip hop dude with the one who grew up listening to Justin Timberlake. So anyway, so if you first time you listen to Life Full Circle Radio, we take subject matter off the headlines, we dig a little bit deeper to it, and we rock with it. So anyway, today, y'all just don't know what was going on before we came on this air. We're trying to get ourselves together.
That's why I haven't said anything yet. But like, I'm also thinking, why did I get Justin Timberlake? There was Brandy during my era, Monica during my era, Blackstreet. Remember Cisco? DMX. There's a lot of people.
You know you was a Justin Timberlake fan. Don't front.
Everybody was.
Not everybody. Anyways, let's move on. He was all right. So anyway, we take subject matter off the headlines. We dig a little bit deeper into it. And so today we got to start off with a recap from last week. We ended up with me being loud and wrong, talking about a remix that Patti LaBelle, the people did, and I was loud and wrong. But anyway, we was all setting up for the versus battle. Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight, and Patti LaBelle, my favorite auntie of all time, got dusted by Gladys Knight on the verses as Gladys came with her backup singers, her sequence outfit, and Patti LaBelle had her red bottoms on and didn't know her songs.
I mean, let's be honest. Patti LaBelle came, like I feel a lot of versus people do. People, sorry about the glow on my face. The AC is broken in my studio, so I apologize for this glow you're seeing. But I think Patti came, like a lot of people came to versus. I just came to play my music and catch up and reminisce and have a good time. But that's not why Gladys was there. Gladys sang every single song live, and I don't think anybody other than Boring Behind Alicia Keys and John Legend sang live. She sang every song live and didn't stand up to sing. She sang in a chair. Do you know how hard it is to get that range while you're sitting in a chair?
Yeah.
Not even a stool. You are sitting in a full-on chair with that kind of range.
Yeah. Gladys Knight saying, "I'm coming for my respect." Y'all seem to think that all I did was fried chicken in Atlanta. No, I am one of the greatest singers of all times, and at almost 80 years old, I think when I'm 77, 176. She sat out there, and we seem to forgot that she used to have a residency in Las Vegas, and she showed it. And so Patti gets up there and talking about teleprompters and all this type of stuff, and we're like, you got a DJ, and they're only playing clips of your song. Ain't no teleprompters gonna be set up for that. I just was really surprised that Patti didn't know her songs. That really threw me off.
I'm not surprised by that. I mean, Patti, there was a Christmas something at the White House a while ago where she actually sang that she didn't know the words. She's saying, I don't know the words. That's why I have you backup singers for. Please sing the rest of the song. And she just, I guess it's one of those old lady things where you're just like, I don't care. I'm here. You know I can sing. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do this with y'all. I'm here because they cut a check. Ta-da, I showed up.
That little boy Timberland and Swiss, they called me, talking about they want me to come out here. And I'm going to put my shoes, and it's so funny, me and Trey were watching it, and we knew before they came out, we said, okay, that's Patty stuff on the right, because we see the Louis Vuitton boxes, the luggage, we see the red bottoms, and on the other side, you just see just nothing but a glass of water on the Gladys side. Gladys said, all I care about is making sure my vocal cords are wet, because I'm getting ready to sing you under the table, Patty.
Patti LaBelle's wine glass, that giant long goblet she pulled out from way back here that had all the adornments on it. I mean, it was a longer base on the wine glass and it had the top part. It was big for no reason.
Yeah.
But the part that took me out.
Yeah. She clapping y'all. She clapping y'all. The part that took you out.
For the first 5, 15, maybe 30 minutes, they're just talking. Man. They're just talking. They're talking like when your mom was at church and she said, 5 more minutes, baby, I got to talk to Auntie so-and-so. And you're like, let's go. I'm hungry. Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I'm 35. I still do my mom like that at 35. Like, yo, you said you were going to talk to so-and-so on the phone, not out here. Like, can we go? Yeah. That's how this versus felt. They were talking about regular stuff.
Yeah, it started off. Nobody told them how this was supposed to work. So they just said, we just going to come up here, we going to talk. Somebody behind the scenes had their little headphones on, and they were like, oh, we got to play some songs?
But no, that guy was probably trying to mime, and finally he said, we're live. And they're like, we're what? Huh?
Oh,
We're live?
they did say that. Yeah, yes. They did not know they were live. That was hilarious. And
We're like,
so,
oh, we're live. Okay. All
yeah.
right, well, we're live.
Yeah. So that was hilarious. But shout out to the aunties, Patty and Gladys Knight. I was going back and forth with my pops. I didn't have to pay tech support. I don't have to pay tech support with my pops. He the one taught me the tech game. But he was texting me and he was super excited. And I can only imagine, when I get to that point, because I'll be honest with you, that's how I felt about Erykah Badu and Jill. You couldn't pull me away from the screen with Erykah Badu and Jill Scott with their verses 2, 3, 4 months ago, whenever it was.
And their verses was not as jazzy as you thought, as everybody was hoping it was going to be, but it wasn't boring. Again, it wasn't like Alicia Keys and John Legend. It wasn't like Miguel and Brandy, because theirs was boring too. Miguel and Brandy was boring. We were just there hoping maybe they like slapbox each other. So
Monica and Brandy, because I didn't know I was there. Or was you talking about the Puerto Rican black?
Sorry, Monica and Brandy were boring.
Yeah,
we were all there hoping they were going to slapbox each other, maybe, and they didn't. Yeah. So. Oh, and we can't forget that the ladies Gladys Knight and Patti LaBelle brought out Dionne Warwick. Glad she's still living.
While she's still living, and I imagine that she probably had a dime bag in her pocket of good weed, because
you keep saying that she smoked weed. How do you know? Was this between the psychic friends time of her life when she started smoking weed?
You talk to your mama and that generation. They'll tell you that Dionne Warwick was known for smoking.
Text my mama right now.
Text your mama right now and see if she wasn't smoking the weeds with the seeds popping in the joint. Anyway, let's move on. What's next up? As you texting your mama, what's next up on your list?
So next up on the list, we take a little bit of a serious turn, and that is that Andrew Gillum had his interview with Tamron Hall on Monday, and he did the interview with his wife, RJ. And he came out as a bisexual male, and that was a lot to swallow for some, a little bit of a cop-out for others. I personally feel that it is a cop-out. I know we talked about my stance on it previously.
Yeah.
I am glad that he's come out, but I thought the interview was a little bit of, let's play this down, smoke and mirrors, rather than being honest about who he actually is and what he actually is.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and you broke it. We put the clip out there, and you can check it out on YouTube. And this was before the interview hit, that you talked about your experience with him, and that he was gay, and he's saying bisexual. Some people will say that's splitting hairs, and I think in the LGBT community, there's a reason why there's a B there. So he said he's bisexual. He's married to his wife, but he's had interactions, intercourse with men. That's his life, but he's come out to deal with it. I think that he has a lot of work left to do in public life, and so the only way he's going to be able to move forward is to get this behind him. And I think that he's he can work on. I won't say he's successfully gotten it behind him already, but it's on the way. He's putting himself in a better position to get it behind him. But
I think his interview scratched the surface of where he actually should be. I feel like he would have I feel like he did a lot to protect his wife, which I respect. He really wanted to protect his wife and said she knew about his sexuality beforehand, which is true. She did know. I know that. She was told before they got married this is how it was, and she knew. But him kind of saying it's my personal business a little bit, and that guy was just an acquaintance. He was a fan. Like, it was just, you're telling us and not telling us at the same time. So if he's going to come back into the political world, that convoluted story he gave to Tamron is going to come back to follow him, because it really wasn't a 100% putting it all on the table. Here's my cards.
Right. Well, here's the thing. He only had to deal with what we knew. And what we knew is that he was in a hotel with a man. They took pictures.
That he was set up. I think he was set up. I really do believe that. Those pictures they didn't make any sense. Like, who does that? Like, nobody we know who cheats on his wife, gay or straight, has somebody who takes pictures of them while they're passed out on the floor. Yeah,
I definitely believe he was set up. When you're someone who ran for governor and possibly could have been in a position to run again in a couple of years, there's no doubt. Whether or not if he had a senatorial run on the horizon or whatever, that's probably gone now. But I think he's still got a major role to play.
With how bad Governor DeSantis is, and the viewers don't know this, and the listeners don't know this, but I live in Florida, how bad Governor DeSantis is, Andrew could run tomorrow, and I bet you would still be a tight race. It would not. People still in Florida still believe that Andrew would it be the better choice? I mean, look how COVID-19 has gone for Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We went from having, we were flattening the curve to now we became one of the epicenters.
Right. Right, but but people have to be really smart and pay attention to the issues. There's 40% or more of the people who vote vigorously who don't give a doggone about the issues, and so but getting back to I'm glad I'm glad what Andrew Gillum has dealt with this, and now we can move on. We can get him back in the game now, in the political game. He's a sharp guy. He would have been a great governor and he's going to play a role. So his personal life is a personal life.
Aren't you glad this happened? That he's not the governor instead of him happening while he was governor. Remember Marion Barry? Remember that for DC?
Yeah, and he still got reelected.
That's true, but still.
No, but it would have been disastrous if he was governor. They would have been screaming for impeachment, and they would have made a whole huge issue out of this. And so, yeah, it would have been disastrous. But kudos. I'm glad he's going to come out. Hopefully, he'll come out on the other side of this thing. Hopefully, his family is going to survive this, and so we can move on. All right, what we got going on? What's next?
The next thing is the Breonna Taylor settlement. Her family has settled with the city, and it's kind of a dual settlement. Yeah. Everybody's heard about the $12 million, which is great, but they're also saying, oh, the money won't do anything. The money, all the money in the world won't bring her back. Well, they also got some hardcore police reform inside of their settlement with the police department, and those settlements include how warrants are handled by the police. Mm-hmm. They also want establishing a housing credit for police officers so they can actually live in the cities they police. Mm-hmm. They also want officers to do 2 hours of paid leave every 2 weeks inside the communities that they serve. Mm-hmm. And they're also going to track police use of force incidents and citizen complaints. So these are all the stuff that we've all talked about with, the Black Lives Matter movement and police reform and abolish the police. Mm-hmm. It's these type of things that we're looking for, right. Especially the police officers living in our community, because let's say, for example, a police officer lives in your community and they know all the residents, and they know, Charles down the road has mental health issues, right. Sometimes goes off his meds, right. Now he's running down the street naked. And right. Instead of being some kind of, oh, he's dangerous, it's just like, call the social worker and get the butterfly net, because Charles out here wilding. We just need to get him back in the house and call the doctor.
Right, like the situation up there in Rochester, New York, where the brother called and he just wanted the police to help and ended up killing him. I think it's good Breonna Taylor's family will be financially compensated, which helps a little bit. I don't know. I've not been in that situation, but I'm assuming that it's going to help a little bit. But the fact that they demanded that there was some other legislation within the settlement, I think was a brilliant move by them and their legal team, so that you just don't write a check and make people go away. You need to really, there really needs to be some real police reform. When I was hearing all of the defund the police that started out 5 or 6 months ago, I just cringed, because I was just like, I know as a marketer, as a media person, I knew how it was going to be spun. And the reason why, and there's some really, really smart people who said, oh, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. It's not about what I know. It's about what people will believe. And what people will believe is that you're saying you just don't want police. And now here comes the Trump ads, and you got anarchy, and where will Joe Biden be, and the phone ringing, and the same old 3 o'clock in the morning stuff that happened, commercial ad that Hillary Clinton, I think, ran a few years ago, or ran against her. I don't remember. But the point being is that real police reform is what needs to happen. Defunding police means that you need to reallocate some of the money that you're putting in military-style tanks that are running around in these cities, and put it in some social work, or put it in some jobs programs, so people are more equipped to not be confronted by the police. But
we talked about this last time. Right. I mean, what's wrong with having social workers be a part of the police department? A lot of the calls they deal with are stupid stuff. They're not always dealing with people with guns and drugs and weapons and this and that. Sometimes they're dealing with the couple who's always fighting. Yep. The neighbor done called the police again. Yep. They out here fighting in the middle of the other yard. That's the neighbors called the police. That's something a social worker could handle, especially if that person is not violent. Like, y'all are out here arguing. Here's next steps. One of you all is going to get fined, so on and so forth. Right. I mean, if we can stop these stupid calls, so that we can start focusing on maybe the police focusing on the gang activities happening in major cities. Right. That's a plus. Right.
See, that's the part that we don't seem to understand. That we're living in a propaganda age with this administration. You want to talk about the level of influence that the Barack Obama still, for people who may not know, he still has more social media followers than Donald Trump, right? But he doesn't use it. Well, but he,
guard, didn't it?
but he does, but it never, it's never where he's never used it the way that this administration has used it, because people are just reading headlines. They're not digging into the real stories.
Wait a minute though. If you and I, as marketers,
as we both are,
and been for a long time, how Donald Trump is doing this is beyond brilliant. Let's just.
No. I've said in presentations to clients. I've said in presentations with events. Donald Trump is the number one producer of television right now. He's the number one producer of media. If he breathes, everybody's going to cover it. And so it's brilliant what he's doing. He knows that most people are dumb, that they're really not going to dig into the facts. All he has to do is come out here and shout out some headlines, and that's what people are going to run with. But then he turns right back around and will flip that on its ear and say, it's the mainstream media that are against me. You are the mainstream media. You are dictating what everybody's talking about all day, every day, whether it be sports, whether it be entertainment, whatever. It's dictated by what comes out of your mouth. He knows that. And when he leaves the White House, whether it be in 2 months or 4 years and 2 months.
2 months. 2 months. Don't say that. Don't speak it into existence. No, it's 2 months. We don't do that, Jesus. Not here on Life Full Circle Radio. It is going to be 2 months. No, not in the name of Jesus. I rebuke it.
I'm a realist. I will do backflips or try and throw out my back when we vote him out in November, or if he gets drug out in January. But I'm prepared, because I'm talking to too many people who I respect and who are in the political game on the backside, and they're all kind of like, because it comes down to it. It's it's off subject, but it's not. When it comes down to it, it's about the Electoral College. And if people, we know Florida pretty much is going to go red.
It's going to go red.
It's going to go red. So then you have whatever on this, Georgia, going to go red. It may be close because of Atlanta, but it's going to go red. So then
I think it'll be closer this time than it was last time. Last time Hillary won the popular vote, okay, fine. But I feel like it's going to be a smidge different, because people were letting him slide with a lot of stuff, even with the police stuff. People are just like, no, Trump's right. Police, law and order. It's this COVID-19 stuff that people are not cool with.
But you
know that.
Of course. Hear me when I tell you, I am being overly conservative and pessimistic with this, because the bottom line is going to come down to white folk. Has he made y'all feel like, okay, Don, you done went over the top. This is too far. Like, literally, he's blamed.
Disrespect the military.
But they claim he's not disrespecting the military. All he has to do is look at them and say, I didn't say that, but it's on tape. You disrespected John McCain. You called him a loser because numerous times. But they'll look you right in your face and say, he didn't say that. It's on tape in his own voice. No editing. All you got to do is hit play and let it run. And, the Gold Star family, the way that he disrespected the Gold Star family. It's
family. The black guy who died, he called the wife, and he knew what he signed up for. And it's stupidity. And your wife is served in the military. Right. And is a graduate of West Point.
Right.
Can't get more than that.
Right.
I mean, it's just disrespectful. And the fact that he's also just tweeting out law and order, law and order, law and order. Well, that's fine, but what does that mean? What does law and order mean?
It doesn't matter to his supporters what it means. It just means he said it, and we want him to win, and it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter. And that's the frustrating thought about people. The fact that they make fun of people who get educated, and the fact that they make fun of the colleges and all that. And let's transition to his executive order talking about education. That now he's saying that he wants us to be taught about patriotism, and make that a mandate. Let's dig into that real quick.
This is Hitler Youth. That is what this is. When people are saying that on Twitter, I know people just think it's just a stupid slogan they're saying. No, Hitler Youth was a real thing. It basically took history and took out vital parts of it, and it was taught in schools to little kids, and that's what it turned into the Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
It was basically like a Hitler version of the Boy Scouts,
Right.
and that's what it sounds like. And all of this happened because Trump didn't like the 1619 Project, which kind of brings slavery to the forefront of how America was built. And it was a piece done by, was it the New York Times? Yes, it was the New York Times.
New York Times.
And he's basically saying that it's the left's warping and distortion and defiling of American history with deceptions, falsehood, and lies. Basically, what it sounds like to me is slavery wasn't that big of a deal, you know? Trail of Tears, not that big a deal. Japanese internment camps in California, what are those? Like, that's what it sounded like to me. Like,
Right.
it should only be America has always been awesome, and white people
Right.
have always done things by themselves.
Right. Yeah,
That's not true.
we've talked about that. We talked about the fact that Trump is using his platform to rewrite history every day. And what we have to do is there's just two sets of books here. That's, the Trump era will be defined by there being two sets of books. And we have to make sure that we don't allow him to rewrite this thing and try to make it out to be something that is not. Why do you need to have an executive order for the schools to teach patriotism? We're taught patriotism from the very beginning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, all the way from the time we were 4 years old. When it comes down to, we know who George Washington is. We know who Thomas Jefferson is. We know who Christopher Columbus and his line behind is. We know all of this. And then we get 1 month of the year where we learn about the same black people we learn about every year. They got the same placards in all of our kids' classrooms. Not Malcolm X, of course. You're not going to teach them Malcolm X. Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass.
I like to call it the Black People Divine Nine. There's just 9 apparently. 9 black people that all black kids learn about. Just these 9.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, there's Martin, there's Harriet Tubman, there's Frederick Douglass, there is George Washington Carver, there is
Malcolm X. I got Malcolm X in my school.
I didn't. I was in the South, so we didn't get Malcolm X in the school. I learned that on my own. So we up to 5. We up to like 4.5, maybe 5.
There's 4 more. My high school did Harlem Renaissance stuff, so like Duke Ellington, a lot of those people, we got that too. But it was only, again, 9 people max that we got to know about.
Right.
And there's a whole history of African Americans that have to make this country what it is.
Right.
And the bottom line of Trump's whole thing is, this can't happen. Like, legally, he can't make the curriculum
But he doesn't care about what legally. He cares about putting it out in the conversation and then letting the people drive the narrative. And let's just keep it real. Trump, once again, the king of the Trump steaks, Trump hotels, Trump water. He's the king of white labeling. He took the 1619 project and turned right back around and said, well, you got the 1619 project. I'm going to come back with the 1776 executive order. Like, dude, like, this is ridiculous, man. Slavery happened. Here's the thing. You can't make it go away. Slavery happened. You destroyed a community of people. You don't want to have a conversation about reparations, which that would kind of help it if you wanted to cut a check. You cut a check to the Japanese. You cut a check to the Native Americans. Maybe that's a good start, but we know that's unlikely to happen.
Even to me, I feel like they need to fix a lot of the history that is being taught about minorities in school.
Right.
Like, half of us, more than half, didn't know anything about the Tulsa Massacre. We had no idea that was a thing.
No idea. No idea.
Anybody else know that Lake Lanier in Georgia actually used to be an African American city where they drove all the African Americans out and made that stupid lake? Did anybody else know that?
I didn't know that. I can tell you this too. Growing up in between DC and VA, the Juneteenth was not a thing in Virginia. And so,
it's also a thing down here in the South, yeah.
Right, but it wasn't a thing because think about it. In Virginia, we knew we were free 2 years before people in Midwest and in the Deep South, and so it wasn't something that was really taught. It should have been taught. We should have known about Juneteenth. I didn't really learn about Juneteenth until I moved to Florida, until it really became a thing where people were celebrating every June in the middle of June. And so, yeah, there's a whole lot out there that needs to be taught. And for you to say now all of a sudden now we got to go back and reteach something that we've all been taught ad nauseum from the time we was 4 years old, it's just, that's got to be our white privilege moment of the show today.
And even worse, imagine a whole series of white children who learn this curriculum. Imagine how dangerous that is. At least with children of color, Indian parents, my husband's Guyanese, me, a black family, you, like Hispanic people, you'll learn at home what certain things are.
Right.
The parents may not take the energy to say, well, you learned that in school, but there's a few things missing.
Right. But that's
so imagine those kids.
That's the American way. The American way is that you got a lot of people out here in America right now who's saying that it's a big deal because football players and basketball players are saying we want to be treated equally because they've never been taught that we were equal to them.
Let me tell y'all something. Y'all keep talking about starting your own patriotic league of basketball and football. Do that mess if you want to. Do it if you want to. Nike, Reebok, Adidas are not going to sponsor y'all league. Y'all better go find New Balance and hope they sponsor y'all. No one's going to watch this patriotic, a.k.a. white-only league. No one wants to see that. No one wants to see a basketball game full of three-pointers.
Yeah.
No one wants to see a football game where there's nobody to throw to. Who are you throwing to?
Yeah. No, there's athletics is a meritocracy. And here's the thing. Most of the time, in most of the sports, where you let us get a handle on that thing, black folks are going to dominate. All right, let's move on. What else we got? Anything else on Trump that we see? Anything else?
Quick. Let's think of the only sports that might survive whites only. Baseball might be okay.
No. Half the league, 40% of baseball is Hispanic or people of color.
Okay. I know soccer won't be okay.
Soccer won't be okay. Hockey will be fine. Hockey and golf will be fine. Right now, I want to say there was a good 25 women, maybe not that many. There was quite a few black girls who played in U.S. Open last week.
Yes, there were a lot of them. No, tennis is not going to be good.
Tennis is not going to be good.
Y'all got golf and hockey. That is a very, very boring ESPN white.
As long as you make it all well and all even, you put the same racket in the same hands with the same baseballs, the same footballs, the same basketballs. And here's the thing, and I'll be real honest with you. You're seeing a lot of the white players that are very good in the NBA. Most of them are European, and most of them are coming from situations because basketball is a game that is really rooted in struggle.
Yes.
Right? Now, there's some cats, there's some kids, they didn't come from struggle. The Jay Williamses of the world, they didn't come from struggle. But, I saw a story with Shaq. Shaq was on the NBA show, and he talked about Goran Dragic, who's the guy who plays for the Miami Heat. Miami Heat is now up 2-0 on the Boston Celtics. Whatever country he's from, but Shaq talked about there's only two people who, when he tried to bully them in the NBA, that they looked him square in his eyes and they weren't scared of him. It was Kobe Bryant, R.I.P., and Goran Dragic. And he said, Shaq, I'm from Serbia. You can't intimidate me. and
yes, and you're right.
Yeah. And
in the Jordan documentary, the one white guy that was good as everybody else that they wanted was from some war-torn country.
Tony Kukoc. Yep.
Wasn't he?
Tony Kukoc was, I think he's from the former Yugoslavia, I believe.
He was blown up or something, and then he went to go play basketball, and they're just like, well, do you want to come to America? He was like,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, we talk about growing up in the hood in America, and it can be rough. But when you got cats coming from war-torn countries, and their only way out is to be able to play tennis or play basketball, them boys come over and they ready to hoop. And so you start to see some cats that can really ball. All right, let's move on. What else? What's next up?
All right, let's take a nice trip down Crazyville and go visit Kanye to see how he's doing.
I miss the old Kanye. Can we have the old Kanye back?
Yeah, he's only coming back if he gets a divorce and gets on his meds. That's when he's coming back. Divorce and getting on his meds. People, this man got kicked off Twitter for 12 hours, which I get. I called his wife a whore on Twitter, and I got kicked off Twitter for 12 hours. But he went on a whole... I did. This really happened to me. It happened a month ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he has spent... Let me just show you a little really quick. He has spent the past 48 hours just going on a nonstop rant about some things that make sense, about how artists need to make better deals with the labels. The labels need to stop kind of taking advantage of artists. All that I agree with. But then he takes it a step too far. He takes a video of himself peeing on a Grammy, like a live video of him peeing on a Grammy. Then he posts the phone numbers of some Sony executives, which you really can't do. And then it's just Crazyville. It's just Crazyville all up and through here. This is all him ranting about the same thing.
Let me just tell you, I don't follow Kanye. I just, because I want the old Kanye, and I know anytime I'm not gonna get the old Kanye. And then I listened to his music, like that gospel album he dropped about a year ago, whatever it was, 12 months ago. It was real decent. I was just like, this is not bad. And
You will
but
not get me to do that. You will not get me to listen to the album. You will not get me to believe in his Sunday service. I will
oh
not.
no, no.
The second I believe in that is the second Jim Jones is coming back, and it's very Jim Jones. We all remember Jonestown. Does it not give you Jonestown vibes? Everybody
Well,
matching.
I'm just well. See, I'm just not that gullible. So I look at it for what it is. But the point being is that I miss the old Kanye. That brother, like you just said. Okay, yeah. The artists need to take more. No,
Yes.
take yes. Oh, now you peeing on Grammys on no. We didn't ask for that part. No.
And a lot of people are, and he got kicked off Twitter. And the reason why people found that he got kicked off Twitter because he texts Rick Fox. Rick Fox, the former NBA star, current actor, and said, "Hello, my friends, I got kicked off Twitter." So Rick Fox posted this. So then Rick Fox started tweeting, like, why is he texting Rick Fox that he got kicked off Twitter?
Right.
Why is Rick Fox posting this?
Like Rick Fox, I guess Greenleaf done gone off, and now Rick Fox trying to stay relevant. I don't know, man. Kanye, I just thought that brother, man. I don't know, man.
I feel bad for his kids.
And they're very young. They got a long. And here's the thing, and we've said this a million times. Man, there was no Twitter and no Facebook when our parents or our parents' people in that community was wilding out.
Yeah, thank God.
These kids now, man. These kids now are gonna grow up, and all they got to do is pull up their phone and look at when their parents, Kanye, was acting a plum fool, and you can just imagine your 15, 16-year-old daughter looking at their phone and looking at you and looking at your phone and looking at you like, Dad, what were you thinking?
I'm 35 now. I am terrified of the day I tell my daughter, no, you can't wear so-and-so. Then she goes on my Instagram from years ago and go, well, when you were my age, you wore this, and I'll have no response. I have no response to it. I'll be like, Or when she says, well, Mom, I can say whatever I want on Twitter. No, you can't say whatever you want. But she go gets her phone. Well, Mom, you said all these things.
You call Kim Kardashian a whore on Twitter. It's.
My mom was so upset.
I'm sure she was.
Like, what? Yeah. Oh my God, I don't know. Anyway,
hey, Mama Blanche.
I know. What we're saying is that Kanye went from, he always goes from having a valid point,
yeah,
taking it that extra step that puts everybody off and goes, well, we can't
rock with you on that, Kanye. You went too far. I don't know, man. It's like I look at the Kardashians and I don't know, man. I don't know what is the end game for Kanye. I don't know what is, where is he going to end up? Where is he going to land? But the fact that, once again, these Trump supporters and the ones on the far right are screaming like Kanye West is our poster child. Like, no, that's not the way to get more black men to support you, because that's what you think it is. You think that's the way to get it done, is to get more black men to support you by doing that. No, that's not it. So
but how did that become a part of it? And that you just brought up an interesting point. How did they think that Kanye West was their poster person?
He's black.
What? I get that. Yes, I know he's
right.
black.
What I'm saying, but I'm talking about the type of person who believes that Kanye West is enough to draw in black people, doesn't know black. You don't know black people. You think just the color of his skin is enough. Kanye West, the old Kanye, we weren't gonna run behind him when he said go vote for anybody either. We just loved his music. But now you think he's a political figure that's going to sit up here and drive some engagement with black people? No, we looking at Kanye like, yo, you wildin'. No.
It's weird because we've had a lot of these black guys that we've all kind of really supported turn to this weird thing, Isaiah Washington,
Herschel Walker, Vernon Jones.
Republican, so that's one's not as bad. But I thought the Isaiah Washington was the one that kicked everybody in the gut because he just hates all of us. It doesn't matter what.
I don't know what's up with Isaiah Washington. He done went so far. I'm just like, dude. And I just wonder. That's a whole other conversation. Just trying to figure out the people who are on this. I hate everybody. The Dems are wrong. The Republicans are wrong. Everybody ain't crap. But it's specifically the Democrats. They just kept you on a plantation all this time. Man, y'all stop with this nonsense, bruh. It's it's a two-party system, and we got to find a way to work our way through it. All right, let's slide on. What we got?
All right, a little bit of a pivot, tiny bit. Candace Owens, speaking of Trump. Her book Blackout is coming out, and you sent me that information about her book Blackout. She has this whole section on slavery that she's so proud of. And if you guys haven't heard the blurb, go find it. But Candace is another one of those girls who I don't get what the end game is. We talked about this last week with her conference with Cardi, but this week I do not understand what the end game is. She's got this book Blackout. She spends a long time in her book talking about slavery and how, a lot of Black people shouldn't be sticking so much on slavery, and slavery was a Democrat thing, and blah, 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 blah. And she's proud of using the term Democratic plantation. What is the end game?
The end game for her right now is selling books. So she's going to sell some books. She's going to get some more speaking engagements. But I think I tweeted her. I said, she got a long time. She's got to be about your age, a little bit younger. She's Is she 20? She's still in her 20s?
Yeah, she's still in her 20s.
Oh my God! Oh my God! She's got such a long time to live in this truth she's creating for herself.
I said that wrong. She's not in her 20s. I apologize about that. She was in her 20s when she came out. She's now 31 years old.
Okay, so regardless, she's got a long 50 years to live. Hating what she sees in the mirror, because I just don't understand. Hey, here's the thing, Black folks, we not perfect. We got a lot of issues. But when you sit up here and call, that I just can't imagine a white person going out every day and saying, white people, y'all just dumb. I just can't imagine that. And you got people like Candace, and you got people who are out here and just, this Democratic plantation garbage and all this type of narrative that's going on. But right now she's selling books, and that's her focus right now. And she's getting this amen corner of people who, at the drop of a hat, they wouldn't give a damn about her, and that's just the part that just kind of disheartens me.
I hate to say this, but I'm happy she's found a way to not be on the poll. That's all I want for Black women. Don't be on the poll. She found a way. She wrote a book. She's doing this whole thing.
I got so much love for Black women that there's a big gulf between being on the poll and what Candace is doing. She's not
on hip hop. She's not doing some super reality show. She's not marrying some stupid athlete. She found a way to be famous for a stupid reason, but she found a way to be famous without having to lower herself, which is weird, but whatever. That's my only positive I can say about her.
Yeah.
But her book, which is called, check out this title, it's called Blackout, How Black America Can Make Its Second Escape from the Democratic Plantation.
Next.
All right, so Chris Rock. Chris Rock is the next person up on our list. He actually did an amazing interview with the New York Post. He talks about a plethora of things, but he made one teeny tiny mistake that now has been running on Fox News for the past 24 hours. He made a comment basically saying that, the Democrats are kind of the cause, the pandemic is the cause of the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and everybody else, because instead of focusing on the pandemic, they were trying to get Trump impeached. They should have known better because Trump's a 5-year-old. They should have basically had their hand on the wheel to keep things from going off the rails. This was a tiny blurb and a huge interview that had all these other nuanced things in it. And of course, it's been run by every right-wing, alt-right host, commenter everywhere.
That's all they need. Chris Rock, who's a well-revered African-American brother who's been in the game 30-plus years, that's all they needed. They just needed somebody to come out and give them something to work with. It's ridiculous. Like, that's just not how it works. You think the Democrats were supposed to control Donald Trump? The Republicans can't control Donald Trump, but they're in his party. Ivanka can't control Donald Trump. Melania can't control Donald Trump. What makes you think you're going to put that on? So let's look at your analogy. So Trump is like a 5-year-old, and the Democrats are supposed to keep him under control because he acts like a child. No, that's not how it works. He's got a whole party and a whole 40% minimum of the country that's supporting every step that he makes. And so, no, that's not on the Democrats. That's on the process. The process, which is collectively both the Democrats and the Republicans in the Congress that are not checking him and getting him under control, because he's playing them all by using social media and using his bully pulpit to shape the narrative all around the country. Chris Rock is an amazingly provocative person. He's not Dave Chappelle. I give Dave Chappelle a little bit more thoughtfulness in his words than Chris, but that's a mistake. Hopefully he'll come back out and clean it up, but it won't matter. It's already on tape. Fox had already ran with it.
is that he said so many other good things,
Right.
like, about Barack Obama and Jackie Robinson. That's progression for white people. We already knew we could create something like this. He even broke down how he feels about when his fellow comedian white friends do blackface. Like, there was so much in this interview, and they just took that one thing and it's taking away. He even talked about him dealing with I guess you could call it a mental handicap. I guess he found out he has some dissociation disorder with his speech.
Okay.
That he's been through for the past couple years. But these were amazing things, and all anybody want to talk about on Fox was that he blames the Democrats. That doesn't mean he supports Trump.
None of that is soundbite worthy. What's soundbite worthy is that this Hollywood, because Hollywood is against the Republicans, and the black people against Republicans, and athletes against Republicans. So now all of a sudden you got this well-known black entertainment guy out of Hollywood who says something that sounds like he might maybe support Trump. That's all they needed. That's all they needed to run with, and their producers were going crazy. I just hope Chris can find a way to backtrack this and clean this up. But they're gonna run with it. It'll be in a TV ad here soon. All right.
Yeah, it will be, and I feel bad for Chris Rock, but also I feel like Chris Rock is so protective of his brand, like a lot of people are. If he ever sees that quote in a commercial, I feel like cease and desist are gonna come out of nowhere. I feel like he's definitely gonna.
Yeah, well, yeah. Even with you saying that, they probably wouldn't be able to use him. He's not a political figure. They use mostly political figures in those type of ads. But it's enough. It's all over the internet. People gonna use it. They're gonna make memes out of it. And so Chris, he contributed now to some more discourse within the Democratic Party. That's what we like to do. All right, let's move on. What else we got? What's next?
All right, so next thing on the list. Little light and goofy stuff. Well, it's not goofy. It's kind of bad. These people got divorced. But Cardi B has filed some divorce from her husband, Offset. Again, we've done multiple takes of this. So many Migos jokes. So many Offset, Quavo, takeoff jokes. Yes, it's his real name. These people are getting divorced. I'm happy she's getting divorced. This man has cheated on her multiple times. She has stayed.
I'm not in that world. So is it all out there? Is it like pictures of him with women?
It's all out there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all out there.
Okay.
She actually had gotten to the point where she was being sued by a star tender. They call them star tenders because of the hot bartenders at the strip club. They call them star tenders. Don't ask me how I know that. We're gonna keep going.
Okay.
She actually went to the strip club where these two girls work and threatened to beat them up. And this is while she was famous. So she has had run-ins with the girls he's cheated with and has gone to court for assault charges for these girls. And at this point, Cardi, you are super famous. You don't need to do this. You're a beautiful girl. You don't need to do this. You make millions of dollars. You don't have to put up with his crap.
And she says she's done. She wants to move on, and obviously you want people to be happy. It's got to be tough to be in Hollywood. But here's the thing: as a man, and this is me, I can't imagine being with a woman who's famous for sexualizing herself the way that she does. When you talk about then this is all happening within a couple of weeks of her having a beef with Candace Owens, who we talked about earlier. We talked about this last week and how, say what you want to say about the WAP song. She did it within the confines of her marriage. They have a child within the confines of her marriage. And then just a week later, we're talking about her getting divorced. It's got to be tough to be in the public eye, to do what she's doing and to do it and sell her brand the way she sold her brand, being so sexual. She's not going to have no problem finding brothers just trying to get at her. That's not going to be a problem.
Wait a minute. You said being so sexual. A lot of Cardi's music isn't as sexual. This was like her first, to me, super sexual song. What else was another super sexual song? If I'm not remembering correctly, let me know.
Well. Here. Okay. So let me full disclosure. I don't have. I think Cardi B's album of like 2 or 3 years ago was the hottest album. It was running right there with Bruno Mars. It was hot about 2 or 3 years ago.
Now, if we're talking about the videos to these songs, that's different. If we're talking about just the song.
Oh, that's different. That's different. Most of at 48 years old, I don't listen to hip hop the way I listened to hip hop when I was. Actually, I do. I still listen to lyrics. But yes, when it comes down to Cardi B is very sexual. Let's not try to like sugarcoat that. You know what I mean? Okay. That's her presentation. Here's the thing. I'm not even knocking her hustle. I think that she is. I think she has a tremendous amount of charisma. I think that she's fun. But yeah, she's highly sexual, and so that's what men are not approaching her because, you know. So anyway, so I'm sure that caused tension in their marriage.
Yes.
And the only thing that a lot of women need in a man is just somebody that's got some dough, and we know the Migos got plenty of money. And so I'm sure he didn't have any problems getting approached by women or getting women to do whatever he wanted. And so that's the struggle. When I look at them, I look at the Will and Jada, I look at Jay and Beyonce, I look at, so many people who have these challenges in a public life like they do. You understand why a lot of them kind of go into their caves and they don't come out except when they're promoting a project. Because if not, the devil is always busy. So.
No, absolutely. I mean, I guess I thought with them, they were kind of equally yoked, being in the music industry, being kind of around the same age, because they are younger.
Yeah.
I thought they would at least make it a decade, but clearly, it just doesn't.
Here's the thing. I'll be honest with you. When they first got married, I was surprised.
Okay.
Literally, because I'm looking at them because she's so young, new in her career, very sexual in her delivery. I knew it was going to be tough to maintain that type of marriage, at least in my mind. And then them being, as in the Migos, Quavo, them being so popular. No, she's not married to Quavo. Is she married to Quavo or is she married to Offset?
She's married to Offset.
Offset.
Yes.
Okay. I only know two of them. Offset, Quavo. The third guy is just the third guy.
His last name is Cephas. Like his real last name is Cephas.
Cephas. Cephas. So his name is Offset Cephas. Or
his real name is not Offset, but his last name is Cephas.
Anyway, I wish the best for them, and they're gonna be fine. They're both highly successful, and I'm pretty sure they got the next move already laid out. But it's gonna be a struggle. So big up to future baby daddy and baby mama problems with the ultra wealthy.
Woo! That I feel bad for the next people coming into this hot mess soup of ghetto fabulousness. Like it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. All right, what else you got?
I mean, that's really everything so far. That was all the really main topics that we were going to discuss. I'm scrolling to Twitter. There's stuff going on with Nikki Haley. Apparently, she is basically saying that there's nothing worse than voting for Joe Biden, as if Trump doesn't exist. Here's the thing with Nikki Haley, and I think you can agree with me on this. That woman had such a promising political career, and she has tossed it into the dirt for absolutely no reason. I do not know why she has not taken the Paul Ryan approach of, I'm going to stay over here and be really, really quiet until all this is over. And I'm going to come out and go back to what I was doing before.
I was originally going to disagree with you, but then again, I will agree with you in that. I think that this is why. The Republican Party are probably quietly waiting and praying that Trump loses so that they can reset the party.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right, because, with that guy in there, like you said, the Paul Ryans of the world, the Nikki Haley's of the world, these folks, they don't have a place in the party right now. The old guys like Lindsey Graham and these folks, they about ready to retire and turn into dust anyway. But some of the younger ones, they sit back like, will this guy go away? And I'm not convinced that Donald Trump Jr. is not just waiting in the wings, or Ivanka is not waiting in the wings to stay in the Yeah.
I swear to everything holy, if they even talk about these two being the next up to run for any political office, okay, Donald Trump, they might push him up. Ivanka, they know she's dumb. She's not even Donald Trump dumb where she can fake it, like she can speak and talk a good game.
I think Ivanka the smartest one of them all. I think Ivanka's the smartest. Well, first of all, the bar is pretty low with the Trumps, right? It's pretty low. But of all of them,
it's kindergarten math low.
Of all of them, Ivanka is the one who comes off as most palatable, just in presentation. You know what I mean? Like Donald Jr. got up at the RNC, looked like he was on coke.
I know. Gosh, all three of them are like Nazi experiments gone wrong. Like they're just really weird nepotism people. And we all make jokes about Meghan McCain. She's the epitome of nepotism, and that's how she got her job.
Right.
She is nothing compared to those three idiots. Like,
it's right. It really, like I said, the bar with the Trumps is just changed. They just want everything to be reset, but that's a whole nother show. All right, you've been checking out Life Full Circle Radio. Miguel Lloyd, the super producer, Nakia Shakur. We're going to check y'all out next week. Make sure you share, follow, all that good stuff that's down there. We'll talk to y'all next week. God bless.